That was the name of that tune. All right, folks, according to the U.S. Census Bureau survey, black immigrants from Jamaica now account for the largest number of foreign-born blacks in the United States. President Donald Trump is seeking to implement new policies. So what does this mean for us? Past Jamaican Diaspora Advisory Board member for Southern U.S., Marlon Hill, and outstanding Georgian, shed some light. Nice tie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, husband of a breast cancer survivor, so I wear the pink proudly.
Oh, brilliant.
Awesome.
Morning. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Were we not the most up for a little while now?
No, it goes up and down between Jamaica and Haiti. You know, the numbers are up. You know, Jamaica's diaspora and Haitian diaspora are the largest in the U.S., and the numbers continue to go up, making a mark. But we've been in the United States for many generations now. You know, the Haitians helped in the American Revolution to free that country and exchange of property, freed up America as well. Jamaicans have been in the United States from before the 1940s. People, families, Harry Belafonte, civil rights movement. Yeah. So we've been part of the American landscape for quite a while now.
682,000, or 18% of foreign-born blacks. That's no surprise, though, is it?
No surprise, no surprise. And the numbers continue to go up, which is probably the concern for the Trump administration and those people who support the administration. They're concerned that the country may be getting a little bit too much browning, right, or a little bit too much melanin. But nonetheless, immigration is all about who do you let into your country, whether merit-based or family-based. That is really the debate that is happening now in Washington. As you saw, the government shutdown was tied to the discussion on the DACA children, deferred action for childhood arrivals. Many people think that it only has to do with the Hispanic Latino community, but there are many Jamaican kids, Haitian kids that went up on vacation to Disney World or followed mommy or auntie or grandma to go to work or, you know, a regular trip, overstayed, never came back. The kids are in school, they go to college, they're in the military, and then they try to apply for something and then find out that they don't have any documents. These are those kids, hundreds and thousands of them. So they decided, you know, to start the government again, but they promised to address the situation by February 8th. The DACA kids can apply for renewals. If you have any kids who are came in under the age of 16, and as of 2012, they're under 31. They can apply for the DACA relief, which gives them a 2-year opportunity to go to work and to live a life. But March 5th, it expires, so they have to do something about it, right? So DACA is only a small...
February, but then it expires March.
The DACA relief expires in March, but February 8th is the time that they're supposed to have a negotiation.
What do you mean by it expires? What do you mean?
It's an executive order, so it's the president by executive order can just say that it's not going to be renewed. It expires. I mean that you don't have any more.
So is that the real fear, Marlon? Are people thinking that this is the carrot?
It's the end of the road. You're going to be deported.
That you're telling me that I'm going to give you a chance if you come forward. Then I'm going to come forward, and then March you're going to tell me goodbye.
No, they have come forward, right? So these are kids who are, for all intensive purposes, are American of Jamaican descent, American of Honduran descent, and many other countries, right? These are kids that are making a contribution to the country. They're in school. They're very bright. They're doing extraordinary things. It is very unlikely in a midterm election year that Congress and the president will not do something to support these kids. I would be extraordinarily surprised if they don't fix
You would be surprised?
I would be surprised.
Trump has shown you that he can't surprise the world?
Well, it's not really Trump, really more Congress that's really on the hot seat.
Is it, for want of a better word, the restarting of the government hooked up to this?
Well, that was the fight.
Right.
The Senate Democrats were saying, listen, we're not going to fund the government unless this issue has been addressed, because there have been promises before by Leader McConnell. But the most important thing that we really need to pay attention to is that we've been very, very quiet. Our community know that we're #1 on the U.S. Census as foreign-born, but we are not really fully engaged as far as from where I sit with regards to pushing our elected officials. But is that the problem, though, Marlon? The president made a statement the other day about Haiti and African countries, and then when I watched the responses on the networks,
there were African countries that were saying, oh, well, he's not talking about my country. He's talking about another country.
Yeah.
And likewise, people are saying, when he said Haiti, Jamaica should have said, no, you're out of place. This is a CARICOM nation. Have we managed to, as I'm looking, these are mostly Caribbean, Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, Grenada, Jamaica, decided as CARICOM nations to say, we have an immigration issue that we have to address together.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're doing enough. I don't think the CARICOM heads of state are making the case, especially to the congressional officials that represent districts where there are high numbers of those countries that live, right? Whether it's Brooklyn or South Florida, D.C., we need to speak up more. Just because they never call your name doesn't mean that you shouldn't
You're not on them radar.
You know, can you imagine, reportedly or allegedly, he called out Jamaica's name instead of Haiti? How would that make you feel, right, to use those type of words against our country? But needless to say, right, what are they trying to do? And they have to negotiate by February 8th. President Trump wants money for his wall, $25 billion.
The wall still at
right?
the level.
The wall, right? The wall that Mexico is supposed to pay for. You remember that, right? Okay. They want to scale back family-based immigration. There's been talk of getting rid of the brother-sister. That takes 8 to 10 years. Many of our viewers are probably waiting on their applications to mature.
That's chain migration.
Right? Well, that is what they're calling it now, right? It's almost a derogatory term in my mind, though, because if you go to the White House website right now, whitehouse.gov, you will see that they're referring to foreigners, us against them. This chain migration is almost as if I bring my sister Delia and my brother Bertus, that it's going to be a problem for America. It's almost like, you know, why is family-based immigration such a problem now, right? Isn't that what America was built on? The Irish, Italians, all the other countries that have built this country, right? The United States. Jamaicans as well, right? So they want to scale back family-based immigration. They want to get rid of the diversity lottery. That's the visa program where there's low immigration from certain countries, and then they're trying to negotiate the amount of money for border security and the wall that Mexico is supposed to pay for. This is the fight that is discussing. You're going to hear more. I think you're going to hear more from President Trump trying to articulate, because you saw some of the congressional leaders were saying, listen, Mr. President, you're not being clear. You're not being exact on what you want. What kind of bill would you be willing to sign?
So what remains? Green card holders could still bring up?
Everything remains the same right now. Nothing changes, right? You know, my advice is that if your family is thinking about migrating to the United States, or you have family there, every family needs to have a plan. The plan that is not an overnight plan. You really need to be thinking it through. Even if you're going to the United States to work, whether it's a labor contract or you are an artist going to be on a tour, you need to have a plan whether you're going to be there temporarily or be there permanently. And if you're going to be there temporarily, please do not overstay your status, because it creates more problems for the family. Because if the family is not together or the business company documents are not in order, we can't be do the things that we need for Jamaica, right? Because if you're under stress and you're running around trying to figure out getting your documents straight, the kids are under stress, you're dodging and weaving.
What you mean by you can't do for Jamaica? What do you mean by that?
Because if we are more successful, stable, right, in terms of being in America, we can do more for Jamaica.
Okay.
We can donate more. We can bring the family more. Everything is out of order.
So I want to play devil's advocate, Marlon, because the president has a problem, but there are some of us who have contributed to his perception and this idea of chain migration.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you see the U.S. now saying you have to do DNA tests when you send for family, because we don't trust you when you say it's your family, and things like that. How have we also contributed to the way he's behaving?
I can't control what the president does, or how he behaves, or how he views or values us until we value ourselves. Right? I'm here this week to speak at the Jamaica Stock Exchange conference to talk about diaspora engagement and as it relates to the issue of crime. And this issue is squarely in our hands in how we conduct ourselves. These lotto scams impact how people view who we are as Jamaicans. It needs to stop, right? And when you go to school or you go over on whatever visa, right, we need to be conducting ourselves in a way that is reflective of the values of Jamaica. Values of excellence, right? We're leading the charge on the census. We're leading in many different ways in the United States. We need to conduct ourselves in that order. And there's people who are not behaving themselves, who could potentially be deported for making bad decisions. We need to call that out as well and say it needs to stop because it impacts the entire Jamaican population going overseas, right? So we can't be looking the other way and say, you know, Cousin Peter, you know, giving me money, so, you know, it's okay. That culture needs to change.
Yeah.
All right. When is the conference?
Conference is this week. It ends today. I present at 2 o'clock today, and my theme for the companies is that you can do well in the best performing stock exchange in the world. We're one of the leading ones, by the way, but you can do good as well. The government, Minister Montague, the Prime Minister, cannot do it alone as it relates to crime. The companies must make an investment.
Neville says it every morning.
Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
All right. Past Jamaican Diaspora Advisory Board member for Southern U.S., Marlon Hill.
He said, which is usually wrong.
She said.
Which is usually right.
No. But then take me out, sit down. You go talk to him.
I bet you say you go help Billy Wall.
Yeah, Marlon can talk
you need to go Billy Wall.
He said she.
You have a wall, make help Billy Wall
around your house.
doing
I'm rather just listen to doing for the rest of the show.
Make go come Billy Wall around your house. Yes.
True. I don't lie.
Make go Billy Wall.
All right, we'll soon come, folks. Stay with us more and smile after this. Soon